share us with a friend or coworker. Let everyone know about the new amazing 102.5 FM, your do-good through good station.
Orale, Houston, welcome back.
We're back.
DJ Ivy, thank you for another hit musical segment here in between breaks, man. Keeping the show going.
I do what I can, bro. You know.
So humble.
I do what I can.
Man, we appreciate you, DJ Ivy. We're continuing with our year in review here. 2020, there's a lot to talk about. We could be here all day talking about 2020.
All year.
Good.
But
we're not.
But we're not. You know, we only got 2 hours. We got to fill this time with, what we can.
Word.
So in this segment, I want to start by mentioning the people that we lost along the way.
Yes, please.
I think something that set the tone for the year was Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna passing away in a tragic helicopter accident. Unexpectedly, of course, but I feel like that really set the tone for what this year turned out to be.
It's crazy.
I
feel
crazy.
the same way, man.
Yeah.
I remember I was at my daughter's gymnastic competition in San Antonio, and we had just gotten out of the restaurant, and like my oldest, she just looked down at her phone. I just saw her face just drop. I'm like, what happened? And I'm like, my family member, something like that.
Yeah.
And she was like, just showed me the phone. I'm just like, oh, I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
And we were walking around literally the street for a second because it's like, this can't be, no.
The TMZ
Something
kills
else.
everybody.
Yeah, I remember it was
Yeah.
TMZ, yeah.
And we're like, nah. But like about 15 minutes later, everything got confirmed. And you're just like, oh my goodness, dude. An icon, but then thinking about his daughter and everybody else too, because it wasn't just one family; it was like 3 or 4 families on that helicopter. You know,
I do feel for the mom. It's just like losing your husband and your kid. Like that's I don't want to imagine. That's terrible.
No.
Dude, but I feel like we're all still kind of, me as a Lakers fan, I feel like I have to throw in, still kind of getting over that. We lost Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther, which the circumstances of his death were crazy because no one even knew he had cancer.
Nope.
And,
I remember reading about that, yeah.
He played all these legendary figures in biopics and everything, and he kind of built up his resume, like just kind of in the, let's say in the shadows, because like I feel like the impact of his career didn't really hit for a lot of people until after he passed away.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, shoot, his biggest role, I think he took on Jackie Robinson and he was 36, if I'm not mistaken. So he didn't have a long timeline in terms of basically what people would consider his Hollywood kind of, videography, if you would. But just the impact of the roles that he took, a lot of people talk about.
Like hit after hit after hit.
Yes.
And then he basically went out on top, so.
And then keeping it quiet the whole time, to the point where he took the ridicule of people from the internet that,
the trolls
talked about his appearance, and the way that he was getting skinny and like all the jokes and the craziness. And it's like people never really understand what folk are going through half the time, But again, you can't empathize with a situation you've never been through. You can only look at it and critique it from the outside.
Exactly. So, man, like those were the ones that really set the tone for the year and everything. We also lost Kenny Rogers, the gambler. I know Tech's a big Kenny Rogers fan.
Hey.
So we also, in the political spectrum, we lost John Lewis, legendary civil rights figure. I would say he was instrumental in a lot of the civil rights stuff that happened, and he was. We're getting there. He was held in high regard, right until his death, even after. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Supreme Court Justice. That was a big one. That was a big one. Just because of the implications of, one member of the Supreme Court could have all this, authority to swing the vote one way or the other. Then not only that, but as far as like women empowerment, she's a big.
Just who she was as a person.
Yeah,
what
she's
she did,
a big,
her accomplishments.
a big figure. Not just being an important female Supreme Court justice, but actually being revered, and doing her job well.
Precisely.
We lost Bill Withers,
man,
famous singer songwriter, soulful voice.
Timeless, though.
Timeless, soulful voice.
I mean, but the humility behind that voice comes from a little town, and was working on airplane bathrooms, you know, before, in the military, before he actually got his break. And it was just him and a guitar, but just the honesty behind certain folk and the the time period in which they were really impactful did so much for so many people, you know, and that lineage and that legacy is what they really leave behind, which is why we're sitting here talking about these folk as, you know, giants amongst us that are passing, you know.
And Lil Richard passed away this year too, and he was a pioneer of what we know as rock and roll music.
Man, I didn't hear about that one.
Did.
So but Elvis basically took his whole thing, but that's neither here nor there. We're talking about the legacy, how important they were, and that's why they're being mentioned. On the TV side, Regis Philbin passed away.
Yeah.
If you grew up watching, you know, like, what was the show?
Kathy and Regis for a long time.
Kathy and Regis, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
And he's the one that did the New Year thing, right, every year.
So, you know, a lot of people left us this year, and it's been crazy. On top of that, there were some other crazy events that happened in 2020. This one was interesting to me. It was crazy, but not because it's insane crazy, but just because of, you know, the stat. Mariah Carey, All I Want Is You. It began 2020 as the #1 song in America, and we're ending 2020 with All I Want Is You as the #1 song in America. Insane statistic. Shout out Mariah Carey, still getting paid.
Over and over
the Christmas
again.
song?
Yes, All I Want for Christmas.
Christmas is You. Like, straight up. Like, it is the #1, but it has been since it was released. It's just the craziest thing to think about. Like I said, again, longevity. But we're that type of nation. We hold on to things. This is a very antiquated place, you know, at the end of the day.
A lot of, you know, traditions, I guess, for lack of a better term, that we just invented just on the fly. But, you know, it's crazy how the song has persisted throughout these years. But not only that, it's still #1 year after year.
Generation after generation.
Generation after you get those checks, Mariah.
I did hear that song a lot, actually,
Yeah.
these holidays. So that I guess that makes sense. But.
Now, another crazy thing that happened this year that went over a lot of people's head was the Department of Defense released footage of UFOs. Like,
Yes.
it
That
actually
actually happened.
But
Bro, are you listening to this?
Unfortunately, that drop happened the same day that President Trump suggested people ingest bleach in order to fight off COVID, so it got lost in the shuffle. But, I mean, like, that was something that really happened.
We're going to look this up during the break.
Yeah, they were legit like, yo, we have some video of unexplainable phenomenon that occurred. Take that for what you will. Here it is.
Wasn't that the one with the tether?
Yeah.
The one with the tether was going around for like ever, yo.
Yeah.
On all the conspiracy theorist sites. And I know that like all their heads exploded that day. Like, oh my God.
It totally did because
they
like
did it.
this was stuff that was leaked before and people just kind of brushed it off. And then the Department of Defense came out and said, oh yeah, this is real from like a jet that we shot this footage and we don't know what it is. So, you know, have at it. Go crazy. But again, it got lost in the shuffle.
Distract yourselves from the real issues.
Exactly. They're UFOs.
You know, this year we saw the rise of things that should have been popular to begin with. Things like curbside pickup.
Yes, dude.
Things like drive-by birthdays.
Yes.
Dude, are you
Yo,
kidding me?
come on.
you
My
kidding me?
favorite.
Like,
you know?
you mean to tell me I didn't have to be at somebody's house that I barely know for 4.5 hours?
Just cruise by,
Exactly.
wave a hand out the window.
Here's
I
your
love
gift.
you. I love you.
Beep, 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 beep. So that's something that should have existed already, but you know, because of the circumstances, that's what we got now. Another thing, Zoom meetings.
Yes.
Zoom
Yes.
meetings.
That's
Yeah.
the best one. I
that
don't have
is
to
the
go to
best
the
one.
All
office
the
for this meeting.
craziness that happened with
Fantastic.
Zoom meetings. The old people again, the faux pas,
Yeah.
the folk that just could not catch
The
up.
hanger-ons.
Oh no, but dude,
Hanger-ons are gonna
all
call
the
them
faux
that.
pas, you walking into a conference not realizing, oh, the camera's on. I've never used my camera before in my life on my computer, and now I'm using it. You coming out of the bedroom, however you like,
No pants.
whatever's happening or whatever you're doing. Oh, I guess they all off the call. I'm gonna go do what I usually do during the afternoon. And you're like, bro, calm yourself. But I feel like all that dirty laundry always gets aired out in times like this when people have to make like a technological switch.
Oh, yeah.
And you got just folk. I mean,
You're taking people out of their element.
Do you remember Al Sharpton's first selfie? I'm sorry, Al. Like, dude, for everything you did, and thank you, you know, for the legacy and the lineage and all of that, yo. But at the end of the day, like, we're really just trying to lighten the mood because of the fact that we've been through a lot, and we want to make sure that we end this on a high note with positive energy.
We need
That's
to
right.
laugh, man. We need to laugh.
That's right. 2020, you out of there.
Boom.
DJ Ivy takes to another mix. This is Orale Houston on the new amazing 102.5 FM, your do good through good station.
Yes, sir.